Oh, that's a good way to start. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Divine Mess. We are recording episode 27. I can't believe it. It's over half a year that I have been sitting next to my divine co-host and chatting all things spirituality and masculine and feminine energy and the divine mess we call this beautiful life that we are walking through. So I suppose I will introduce myself for those gorgeous humans that have not jumped in and tuned in before. My name is Tina Marie and I'm a love coach, and I work with women who aren't too kind to themselves when they look in the mirror. And we all know that our inner Karens can be a little bit loud and raucous at times. I have been working steadily with mine to tone her voice down. So I just love helping people feel better about themselves and love the person that stares at them in the mirror, because it is the longest relationship you will ever have with anybody. And it is the one that you have with yourself. And today I am joined by my gorgeous Mauritian, French-speaking, Kiwi-living, gorgeous, bestiest friend ever, Mr. Curdy David Perriman, and I will let him introduce himself and all the good, juicy, delicious things he does. So over to you.
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction, Tina. So like Tina has been saying, like I'm Curdy David Perriman. I'm the founder and CEO of the Heroes Mystic. So just like Tina has Dharma and Co, for me it's the Hero Mystic. So as the name say, I'm here to guide you to find your inner hero and go through the challenges, fight your inner demons, and just transmute your fears into faith, and trust life. And that's what we are talking for our 27th episode. Can't believe it already.
Tell me about it.
So it's like half a year now.
Yeah.
It's about, and it was based again on an inspiration from Tina, right? It was we were talking about the trust, the timing to trust the timing, and it's related to our favorite word, surrender.
Great
And
word.
it's
Love that
also,
word.
well, it all came from a chat regarding the death of the false ego. And that's where we started, and that's where we got this idea to relate it to the timing as well, to trust the divine timing, like some people call it, or we all hear talk about trust the process. And so when Tina was telling me about the false ego, I was really curious to know like what she meant by that. So I will give her some time, right, to explain what it meant.
Oh, you bless you, gorgeous human. No, let's just have a conversation. I went recently, I met a lady who is a death doula, and fascinating, so fascinating. And she invited me to a women's circle, and we all sat around on a Sunday night, and they actually call them death cafes. So where we get to talk about death of false ego. So where as I term them, other people may not do it the same, but our Karens and our Nigels, depending on which side of the fence that you sit on, how they endeavour to keep us safe and protected and don't allow us or make us not want to try new things, because I can't go to the gym because my body's not perfect and I wouldn't fit into aerobic wear, or I'm not going to go and bungee jump because that's scary as shit and I am not doing that. I don't care how much I love you. It's just not happening. Or whatever this new inspiration that comes into your life and you're really keen to give it a go, but there's always this barrier or chat in your head about can't do this, can't do that. That's your false ego acting like a mother, wrapping you up in bubble wrap and keeping you safe and protected and not allowing you to develop and grow as you should, because it's an evolutionary process that we are all walking through whilst we are on this earth. And it's about tuning out, well, not tuning out, listening intently to what the false ego has to say, but at the same time, really analysing it and going, what's stopping me from trying this? Is it a lack of knowledge? Is it a lack of ability? Is it a lack of excitement? What is it that's holding us back from trying these new things? That I can't tell you the amount of things that I have tried this year that are so far out of my comfort zone. I started a podcast. I launched a book. I went slacklining. I have done all sorts of really, I've met so many people that I don't know, walked up to people and said, hi, how you going? Just really outside of most people's comfort zones, because by doing that, I'm learning more about other people, which is in turn teaching me about myself. And if I had have listened to what Karen was saying and go, nobody wants to know you, nobody cares, you don't need to go to the gym because you're 50 and, well, you're almost 50, and you don't want to do that because that's for young people, it's not for middle-aged experienced people. I'm definitely trying not to use the word old. So that's where we get to in terms of listening and asking it to be quiet and tuning in with our bodies and deciding which way we're going to go next. And it's okay to try something that's brand new. It's okay to not be good at something. It would be like saying to a baby learning to walk, oh, sit down, stop trying to walk, because you're never going to be able to do that. That's exactly the same rhetoric that we give ourselves when we go, oh, I'm not going to start that exercise program, or I'm not going to go and learn that language, or I'm not going to go and try online dating. I'm not going to go to that women's circle because I don't know, I might know one person in there and I don't know them very well, but I'm not going to go and do those things. If we don't stretch ourselves and try these new things, we're never going to learn about ourselves well enough to understand when Karen's being really loud or whether she's being very, very soft. So that's where we have chosen today to talk about that inner voices that we need to tune into and those that we don't. And mine happens to be of my Irish grandmother, who chats to me on a regular basis. She has not been in contact for the last couple of days, but she has sent me a couple of things where I've gone, okay, I need to listen to that. I need to pay attention. So applying to be a guest on a TV show is the next thing I'm going, oh my Lord, am I really going to do that? But do you know what? I've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. They have a readership of over 1 million people, 1.3 million people. So that's where it's really exciting for me, is that I get to step in and share my story with over 1 million people. That was the original aim of my business, was to impact over 1 million souls. And if I get to do that with one episode of one TV show, then I'm like, I think my BHAG was a little bit small. It seemed insurmountable at the time, but and it's nothing to say that I will get to be a guest on that TV show, but I got that internal fire and I got lit up and switched on and got really excited and went, yeah, I've got to do that. So I've got some life administrative work to do this week to set Karen aside and sit down and write exactly what I want to share and express with these lovely ladies that have their TV show in the United States. And see what comes of it. And if nothing does, you know what? I have stretched myself. I have put myself out there. I have shared my magic. And if their magic and my magic doesn't equate, that's okay. It doesn't have to. It may not do right now. We may not vibrate on the same frequency right now, but perhaps later on, who knows? So my gorgeous friend has been magically tuning into other universes and popping in and popping out. So you know what? Now he's here. You can be on, my friend, because I held the reins there for all by myself. It felt very strange talking to myself there for a minute.
Oh, I'm sure you did really good, like really well. I'm sure you will
Was
be
like,
able to handle.
I didn't have my friend to kind of keep me on.
It felt like the spaceship, like the mothership was pulling in, and I
The
just had
false
to pop
ego
out.
was going, blah, 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 blah.
It's I don't know what's happening with my internet, so I might be lagging or
You were kind of doing
get
this
kicked out.
in, out,
Yeah.
and you were doing the karate moves.
It's like it was like a dance as well. I don't know what's happening, so we are just going to roll with it. If there's an issue, then we'll see what we can do
See
next.
what happens, what comes next.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sorry I couldn't hear most of it because I keep popping out and it keeps slowing down whatever you were sharing. And I'm sure like I just heard a TV show and I was like, wait a second, you forgot to tell me that you're going on a TV show and you didn't tell me. I was like,
well, sorry,
wait a
I thought I had shared that with you. No, it was
No, I'm kidding.
that there's a group on Facebook that people who are in the podcasting world look for guests and people to be on their show, and it literally just, I hadn't seen the group for ages, and it came up and I went, oh, those ladies sound like my vibe. So I just said, please send me some information. Everybody else was sending off their bio and all their stuff and I'm like, I just want the information. Tell me how I can be on part of the show. You don't need all of that stuff yet, right? I don't need to sell myself. And she was like, came back, was so excited. Yes, please send it to us. So yeah, that's on my life administrative work this week. But it takes a lot to get past when that voice is telling you, why would they want to hear from you? And I think this is where we need to learn to, like we were talking about last week, is tuning into what our bodies are telling us, because our false ego kind of operates up in this space up here, where our bodies will give us that reaction as to whether something feels really good or it doesn't. A bit like when you found your dojo this week, that your body all lit up and got all excited and like, oh my word, I can't believe I just found exactly what I was looking for and exactly what I asked for. I've been asking for, how else do I show up? How else do I do this differently? Because I want my business to look differently, and I haven't known which way to go with it, because I know I don't want to be like every coach that's on the internet with their 3 deal packages and all of the stuff. I want to be able to offer something that's completely different and offering it so everybody's got an opportunity to find coaching accessible. I think this is the big thing that most people seem to think, is that coaching is a space for people who are, wealthy, or, it's only for the rich people. It's not for the everyday people who are just trying to kind of get through paying the bills and paying their mortgage and raising their kids, and but they want to do some work on themselves, but it's just they see it as an unaffordable or unattainable situation. That's what I love about what we do on the podcast, is the fact that we're being accessible at the moment, and then when we work out exactly how we want to put packages or information or classes or whatever it happens to be together, we know that it's going to be something that's easily accessible for people that can go, I want to start to do the work, but, you know, I don't have tens of thousands of dollars, you know, between school fees and karate fees and, you know, every other fee that comes along.
Yeah.
You want it to be something that's within reach. So I think that's kind of my baseline at the moment, is that I want it to be within reach so that everybody has access to the knowledge that I've built over 30 years and the knowledge that you've built, so that they can just be better for themselves, which in turn makes them better parents, makes them better partners, makes them better friends, makes them better employees, all of that sort of stuff. But, you know, it's once we kind of take that mask off, that false ego, and go, I'm perfect just the way I am, there's nothing wrong with me, I don't need any help. Once we kind of go, oh, well, maybe I could handle my kids better, or maybe I could handle that work situation with my boss a bit better, or maybe I could be a better partner. You know, I could be a better husband, or I could be a better wife or sister or a brother or whatever, by doing some work on myself. Well, these guys offer something and it's easily affordable. Well, then everybody gets to have access, and then everybody gets to be abundant in their joy and their happiness and their sheer state of bliss, I think. But how about you? How did you find your move from Mauritius to New Zealand? Where were you in that process of sort of shedding parts of yourself or parts of your ego that sort of said, we need to stay here at home, or, you know, this is a bit scary? How did you process those parts for yourself?
Well, first of all, thank you for holding the first part of this episode, you know, like, because I have been having some connection issues. Hopefully it goes well. Let's leave it to the divine, right? The universe taking care of it. Based on your question, before I answer your question, I would like to say some what I heard before about you were saying about the Karens, you know, like, and how it tells you things that are not true most of the time, and you know, it's meant to keep you safe, to feel safe, and most people like listen to those voices and believe that it's their voice. But maybe like exploring, we have been talking about that as well, explore where those voices come from, whose voice is that, and that will be a good start, you know, like to ask yourself, is it really your voice or is it someone else? You know, when you're, for me, I always go back to that gym analogy, you know, like you can choose either to watch someone on Netflix, you know, like doing the workout on, I know there are episodes, there are series about fitness, or you can choose not to watch and just go and do the work in the gym. But if you choose to listen to the, like you call them, the Karen of your voice, well, you will stay where you are and you won't move. And that's related to your question. I feel that if I have listened to everyone else, I would be in Mauritius. I wouldn't have moved at all. Like, no way. If I have listened to every single thing that was against me, in a way, at that time, I put against, quote unquote. But for me, I see it was working in my favor, because for me, it was like the universe testing my resolve, if I really want this or not. Yeah. And I never had fear coming to another country, to New Zealand. I don't know why. Everyone tells who has moved to another country, they say they have research about the country, they have done their homework, they have asked people around it, how is it, or all of that. I never asked anyone. I didn't Google. The only time I Googled New Zealand was just to book my flight. And that's the only time, like, seriously. And people don't believe that when I say that. They say you didn't check. The second time I Googled New Zealand was to find an accommodation, because I came for universities, was to find an accommodation next to it. And that's the only time. Yeah, no, I didn't spend time looking about the country, how it looked. I didn't even know those famous pictures where they were. It's until I came here that I went to explore. But I was open to the experience. So there was no, for me, I chose to listen to my voice only, and I no one else. Like everyone will say, well, that's not financially possible. That was not, yes, at that time it looked impossible. If I given anyone else all those facts, that it they will tell me it wouldn't work ever. Even getting the visa. Like I got the visa like 4 days before I take the flight. Everyone was telling me to cancel my flight, but I booked my flight in November and I flew in February that following year. Yeah, so I was so sure that I'm going. And I still remember I got it on the Monday. So I flew on a Thursday. So I left Mauritius on Valentine's Day, so on the 14th, and I got the visa on the Monday. The Valentine's Day one on a Thursday. So Monday morning, first thing I got, it was an email from immigration. They just needed to confirm one detail, and within an hour, I got it. Yeah. And then my parents, I remember my mom was saying, you need to stop packing. And I was in my mind, I already packed. In my mind, I was already packed, but I didn't tell anyone. No one knew except for, I think there were only 2 or 3 people who knew that I was going. So within from Monday to Thursday, it was literally Monday to Wednesday, I had to meet everyone. So that was the crazy part. Like meet everyone, I mean the people that I spent most time to tell them I didn't want them to find them any other way. So these are the people that I value. And I know they are listening. Some of them are listening to the podcast, so they know that I made that time. Yeah. And they were, of course, they were not happy learning that I was going, because literally the news was like, I remember going to the pool that morning and just say, yeah, I'm leaving on Thursday. I'm not coming back. Yeah. So my whole swimming club knew about that. And they thought I was joking. So everyone knew. Everyone thought I was joking. And everyone thought I was going just for a year, which I initially thought. Because for me, I didn't even plan for after that year what's going to happen. I just wanted to go and just explore the world and explore wherever I'm going, just to be me. And I think like I didn't plan the after the first year. So when COVID hit, when I was supposed to come back, uh, I was supposed to come back, and then it didn't happen. There was lockdown, so couldn't go back. Then I had to make the plan. Okay, what's next? Then I had to start planning. Yeah, that changes my goal then, because I had to plan uh getting the visa, what's next, the possibilities, because now it opened doors, like for me to stay because of the visa, because of the pandemic, which in a way was a blessing, but it was not for everyone. I know that, but in some way it was a blessing. But I know clearly I didn't want to come back that year. I didn't feel like coming back. And for me, like listening to those voice, those I know, because based on my human design, I'm reading about it, and I know once I'm clear on that, there's no freaking way I'm listening to anyone. I don't care. Yeah, like no one will distract me. I was that clear to come. Yeah, and I told the universe. I remember like because uh, just imagine like from November to February, it was only application for the visa. So all the currents in the world can speak in your head, right? Like you will doubt yourself so much, like so much. There's so many things that can go wrong. And there were things that you think are going wrong, but I chose to believe that it's going to happen. And I made up my mind. And my mom will tell you that once I get a goal in my head, I'm so freaking stubborn. Yeah, it's like impossible to take it out of my mind because that's how I am in my head. But it's until I get that clear goal. Because for me, the goal was just to come to New Zealand. And I didn't care about the rest. So I was not scared to come. I didn't even realize the impact of living on my own, being independent. I didn't even know that. Because everyone was like, how can he cook? You know, he didn't know how to cook or something. But for me, cooking is like intuition again. Like I don't follow recipes. I can't. I fail. If you tell me to do recipes, I fail. I know I will. I just can't.
Amen.
Yeah,
1000%.
I can't do that. So, but I know based on my intuition, I can just cook like that. And it just happened. And I know it will be good. And I just know in my head. And I've been doing trials with that, how I feel when I'm cooking. If I'm listening to the Karen, in my head, if I'm doubting, if I put too much salt, for example, too much salt, or I don't even use that. So let's say I put pepper. I like pepper. So let's say you're putting pepper or paprika or whatever. If I did too much of that. And I feel for me when people get clear about what they want, that ego, that timing as well come into place. You have to trust the timing because for me, I realized that 4 months prior to me coming, to me getting the news, yeah, I'm coming to New Zealand. Um, Even the accommodation, it just like happened easily. It was so easy for me. Like in my head, it was easy, but for everyone, they were stressing. Everyone around me was stressing, and my parents can tell you that. Like, because they were not sure if I was going or not. Like, imagine like 4 days prior, the only option, because as Mauritian, we had the option to stay, you can stay in New Zealand for up to 3 months, I think, on a visa. It's a e-visa, I think it's electronic visa. I'm not so sure about that now, but you can stay up to 3 months, but you have to prove that you have the money as well and where you're staying as well. But it didn't matter because for me, I was like, because the guy, I had someone who was taking care of the uni part of it, and he told me like, look, the only option is like you just take the flight and you just flew in and you just say, well, the visa has not yet come. So what do you suggest? And he was telling me that, and I was like, okay. In my mind, I didn't even think like about the custom, about nothing, immigration, nothing, because that's how clear I was about coming.
But it's
But they
interesting
love.
when the ego kind of keeps throwing in the what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? But if we try and flip that and go, what if it does?
Yeah.
What if going to the gym ends up being I know, and it's a prevalent thing that we both talk about because it's prevalent in our lives, but what if it works? What if you go there and you fall in love with yourself again with the changes that are happening? Or what if you sign up to the local tennis club and you go there and you go, I don't know how to play tennis, but I want to play tennis. And people that go there love the game. So, if they can bring another person into the fold, then it's like beauty. How do we go about doing that? So don't don't have the what if it doesn't, have the what if it does. Try and flip that on a daily, going, what if that works? What happens if that comes off? What if this date goes really well? What if this person becomes a great friend? They don't have to become a romantic partner. Or what if this conversation leads to a collaboration? What if this meeting ends up becoming a podcast? Or what if,
Yeah.
what if these things I would never, ever, ever have imagined that by meeting you through our friend Wendy, that we would have a friendship like we have known each other forever and a day. It wasn't something I was looking for. Well, it was kind of, but, you know, not intently going,
Yeah.
I need a male best friend. I want to just chuck status quo right out the window and go.
Yeah.
But, you know, the same with, I've got to have a relatively hard conversation with someone today. What if it works out? Instead of going, oh, if I have to backpedal on this and this, I'm not really sure that I want to do it anymore. And what if it works? What if they go, yeah, okay, if that's what you want, no problem. Why do we always anticipate the house burning down instead of it, you know, being something amazing and beautiful simply because we've asked for what we've wanted? We've put those boundaries in place and we've said, this is my standard. This is what I want for my life. I won't accept less because I'm actually probably worth more, but I'm still learning. So there's room to grow. I think our false egos have a lot to be said for, you know, it places us in boxes. Like our false egos place ourselves in these boxes of I'm a this or I'm a that, or I can only be a this or a that. But what happens if we were multi-layered? What happens if we were multi-skilled? What happens if we tried lots of different things on Visage? You never know where it's going to lead and the people that you're going to come into contact with. And you don't know who's working behind the scenes to try and highlight certain things to you, to go, we really want you to have a look at this, so we're really trying to steer this direction. Would you please have a look at this? You know, please go find yourself another dojo. Please go find yourself another dojo. And then you find one that's literally next door.
Yeah.
That just cracks me up. And you didn't see it. This is the whole thing.
No.
Like, you didn't see it until you were willing to see it.
Yeah.
And I think
And
that's the whole point, right?
Yeah, and there's something I wanted to add. It's about the voice of the ego and the voice of your intuition, because a lot of people question that is it coming from my intuition or is it coming from my ego? And I always say, like, your ego will contract you, like it will feel contracted, restrictive, limited, and it will find scare. It will make you feel scared, and literally it's like you can't breathe. It's like you will go into that overdrive, whereas the voice of the intuition is always loving, caring, and it's understanding.
But
It's expansive.
Yeah.
It's expansive, just like the universe, exactly like that. And for me, that's what I tell people, like my clients. I say, if your thoughts is expansive, then you know it's coming from the intuition. But if you don't act on it, then it's coming from the ego. If you're not taking inspired action, there's something blocking you, that limiting belief, that limiting thought, that's coming from the ego. So,
but then
yeah.
That is also worth digging into and looking at and going, okay, so what is it that's actually stopping me, or why am I not willing to try? You know, because we've all got to be infants at something, right? We've all got to be learning to walk, whether it's playing the guitar, whether it's going and joining a basketball team, whether it's going and trying a paint and sip class or a pottery class, or, you know, climbing up the side of a mountain, or a friend of ours is trekking to base camp. Didn't even think about it until someone said, hey, do you want to go on your holiday? And you went, yeah, okay. So, you know, there are all these constant opportunities that are being put in front of us, and we need to look at each and every one to see how those opportunities make us feel. They're either going to make us feel like we want to throw our arms open and give it a great big hug and say, yes, let's bring that on board. Or you're going to kind of want to curl up in the corner and go, no, thanks. That's not what I want.
It's just like the, like the bungee jump. Before you will feel like it's constrictive, like it's like, oh, I don't want to do it. But once you throw your arms up, like you just show it, right? It becomes like so expensive.
Oh my God, I'm just.
But then
you're going to have to throw me over in one of those, those big round cushioned bubbles. You know how they have those, but with the cords attached. So at least then if I drop to the ground, I've got some cushioning.
No, we are taking you to the one where you get in the river. You can choose. If you can take a dip in the river and then come back. I don't know if you will catch a fish, but I'm just
but I can still scream, Dava.
Yeah, you can.
My favorite words.
It will happen based on the timing, right? We were talking about timing as well. And I feel that we always have that chat, like we always tell each other or remind each other that surrender. Just surrender. And we have a joke of it, but it's like a good reminder for each other's, because when we see the timing, like even when you're training, like 1 year ago, you wouldn't have been open to a new training plan, to a new thing. But now it's like your body, for me, the way I see it, it's like your body has been preparing itself for this spot of the training. That's why now it's like, yeah, whatever new training comes to you, it feels like at first it will feel sticky a bit, but then it's like, yeah, I can do it.
It's
but
also given me the title for my new book as well.
Oh yeah, that's exciting. Are you saying
it's got one of my favorite words. Oh well, it's 50 doesn't equal fucked.
That's so you. Like I like.
Well, all I can see is the 50 and the equal sign with the line through it, and then fucked written with the star. So F star CK. Yeah.
This is so you. Yeah. Oh, okay. This is so you. I can write the forward if you want.
Please.
But I think love the title.
It's so many people, like so many women that I come across that go, menopause is this and it's done this to my body and I feel this and I feel that, but they're not, like you say, taking any inspired action. They're allowing that false ego to go, this is it. This is all you get. You get creaky old body and, your hair goes grey and this goes and all these things. And they sit in it, but they don't take the inspired action to change. So I'm taking the inspired action to change. And from that 12 weeks, that's what I want to base it on, because I can see T-shirts. I can see T-shirts for the gym and yoga mats and like this whole range of things for the silver foxes of the world to utilize when they go, and be loud and proud, and this is who we are. We're not going to be locked away in a cupboard and told that we're old grannies and that life is dead and done and over with. It's bloody not. We've got the possibilities of living into our hundreds, and if I'm going to be doing that, I'm not doing it from a wheelchair, and I'm not doing it from a nursing home. So my intent is to go and do it loudly and proudly as possible for as long as humanly possible, and have fun while I'm doing it.
Yeah, your spirit will take you there, like it will bring you. And I was reading something called in the book by Joey Vitale, The Attractor Factor, and it says universe loves speed. So when you are given this idea about the t-shirt, the yoga mat, it's telling you to do it because someone else in the world is being given that same idea literally at the same time, and universe will see who believes in it first.
Yeah.
Because I think Tony Robbins as well talk about that. It says like it never happened to you when you were walking in a store or like Walmart or whatever he was saying in the US, for example, and then you see that one product and you're like, wait a second, like 10 years ago, I had this idea. And
Someone
5 years
else
ago,
just got it.
someone else just acted on it. And it's like that's place of inspired action. And for you,
Yeah.
like when you're having that book coming through you, being downloaded for you, and you're going to write about it, it's going to have so much impact in the world. And if you use Rhonda Byrne, I think the author of the
Rhonda Byrne.
Byrne, uh, the author of The Secret, he was talking it on the podcast of Lewis Howes, and
Yep.
she was saying that every single morning before they had an intention meeting for the Secret team.
Yeah.
So they did like a visualization of every person opening the book, celebrating it. It's #1 bestseller across all the stores in the world. So if you visualize that as well, and not listening to the Karen, which is, I can see it's creeping in a bit. It's creeping in a bit. Get out, get out. So we are doing like a live coaching session at that moment.
Thank you.
So I feel that I can see the Karen coming in, and it's like, yeah.
Oh no,
get
I'm
out.
writing notes of all the things
Yeah,
that
I
I
know.
want to include. And drink bottles, crystal drink bottles. There we go.
There you go. And that's how it is. Like these ideas come up, but you should take the inspired action next. And and the universe will line up people. And I feel that what Rhonda said is like it all happened magically, like everything will line up. And I feel for me as well, when you asked me the question about moving from Mauritius to New Zealand, that's how it happened, because I was so clear on the goal.
Yeah.
I was so clear on that. But like for anyone, because people always question the how is that going to happen? At that
Got no
stage,
idea. Don't know.
yeah, I didn't care about the how. I just knew it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel that once you're clear about that, for you, like the book will come out and it will be celebrated, like that will be so cool. Yeah.
It will be the 4-hour download. Bang, done, finished.
Yeah. And I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to read it as well.
Yeah, it'll probably conclude with, and I bungee jumped. The end.
These people, just if you're listening, record that bit again, because we're going to play that to Tina every time she questions herself. She just affirmed she's going to jump. She just said it. So it's done.
It scares the pants off me, but like, far out. Here we go. Well, do you know what? If a bungee company in New Zealand wants to sponsor my jump and take me to New Zealand, please be my guest. Put me up in the loveliest hotels. I'd like to go to the onsen hot pools too. We're just asking the universe for everything whilst we're at it. Because I want to see my mate, so and we could do a live podcast from the takeoff platform.
Yeah.
Or at least a live for Facebook anyway.
Yeah. But that sounds fun. But see, that's how you ask the universe, right? In that feeling of joy, fun, it's happy, even
tongue in cheek, almost cheekiness going.
Yeah.
Well, what if Tony Robbins wants to sponsor me too? I'd take that as well. Thank you very much for coming.
Well, there's that theory that you're 6% away, right? 6 degrees away.
I know.
So you never know.
Never know.
Yeah.
One of my gorgeous Mauritian people who love me and think I'm the queen of podcasts, particularly a mum, bless her heart. Sure, why not? Let's do it. We'll go and have lunch with Richard on his island afterwards.
So now you're saying like Virgin Australia is going to sponsor you. Is it still on? I don't know if it's still.
I have no idea, but you know what? There you go. We've asked. We shall see.
And that's how simple you should ask, like people should ask. It's like going for the things that you want to do. And it
Yeah.
should be as simple as that. And it should be like things that make you happy, fun, that's going to bring you joy. And every time you think of that, it will instantly bring that joy, not the currents, like coming
Not the
in
freak
with like
out. Holy
creeping in. And it will come, but it's about telling them to go away, like gently and nicely,
Just
lovingly.
take a seat lovingly in the passenger seat, but I'm driving.
Mm.
You pop in the passenger seat, enjoy the ride, enjoy the view.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. We've got this.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Because we do understand that at times it's difficult not to listen to the ego, because we as human, we go there all the time. And as coaches as well, that's why we have coaches as well. So that's why we have people who help us to level up. And for me, it's like that game, like every time you level up, you have those new challenge that comes to you.
Yeah.
And it's like you can handle it. That's why it's given to you. But your ego will tell you, well, it's best that you return to the previous level. That sounds more comforting.
God, could you think nothing worse? I could not think of returning to, as much as I've enjoyed every part of my life, the goods and the ups and downs and all the rest of it. I wouldn't want to change where I'm at now, because it's exciting with the possibility and the things that are being, the seeds that you and I have planted for all of this for at least the last 6 months. They're just about ready to start poking their leaves through the dirt and saying, okay, let's get going. I think all we need to do is place some copper sticks in the ground and rev it up and get it going a bit faster. So on that note of revving things up, and on this glorious, glorious Tuesday, we are going to bid you farewell with sending you all our love. And we think you're amazing and you can do anything.
Yep.
And we look forward to having you join us next week with your favourite beverage and a light heart and some bare feet, because there's nothing like being grounded to this earth. And I look forward to chatting to you probably in the next 2 minutes or during the week. So everybody have an amazing week, and we look forward to having you on board for the 28th episode next week. But until then, goodbye, my dear friend, and I will talk to you very soon.
Yeah, thank you, Tina, for this lovely conclusion to this episode. I feel it's been like a crazy ride we've been through, because we went through that roller coaster of emotions. And if you guys want to take one thing of it, for me, it was like focus on what you really want. And that what Tina demonstrated, I feel that we both shared that joy, that fun, that cheekiness, like that really elevated our vibration in that moment. And when we ask, it's already given by the universe. And we just need to believe and just be open and receptive to the intuition coming through, the downloads coming through, and just take the inspired action. So on that note, thank you for this lovely chat.
As always.
As usual. And hopefully it went through, because my internet has not been playing up since then. So thank you.
Thank you, angels, and ciao for now.